Record. One. All right, guys, voices off. Let's actually start class real quick. If my online kids, can some of y'all maybe give me a thumbs up? Are y'all getting on Microsoft Teams okay? Or I might be able to hear you. Yeah, okay. Kaylin and Ella can. Cool. So stuff will be added there from now on. I will stop using the WordPress. There's a bunch of, I put a WordPress post up yesterday that has like information for what I'm going to do going forward. But unfortunately, I'll stop using WordPress. And I'm either going to phase out YouTube and just start uploading the videos to Teams, or vice versa and only put them on YouTube. Probably just keep them on YouTube, and maybe eventually I'll upload them. Anyway, I don't think the people here, like Ella and Caitlin, I think y'all are good. But if there's other people watching this in the future, once it's been archived, I have a lot of people who have not turned in their homework from last week. That's weird. A lot of people went to that Google form, but they just clicked through it. They didn't actually enter their translations. So you either need to do that and use the Google form, or take a picture of it and email me. If you haven't done that, I don't really know why. You need to do that. And then there might be a few people who still haven't taken their vocab quiz from like 2 weeks ago. So that's still an option in the Google Teams. I have like a new assignment for it in Google Teams. And what else? The verb ending quiz, that is going up today. So that's in Teams today. You're supposed to take it today, but I might extend the deadline since people are still going to use the Teams. All right. Hello, everyone, though. Okay, why is it still frozen? Let me unfreeze it. Welcome back, guys. So we got 1 week, and then what happens? Anybody know what happens this weekend?
Columbus, Labor or something.
Oh, I don't even know what the holiday is, but we got a 3-day weekend, people. Yeah, we got. Is that what it is? Labor Day. Good. Some schools don't start till after Labor Day, and last year we had not started by this date. We were still 3 weeks away from starting. Isn't that crazy? It's like the craziest thing. We've already gotten so much done. So this is our last week with the first 4 chapters. I'm actually going to introduce chapter 5 next week. For this class specifically, I can tell you guys are pretty much ready for that. Almost everyone in here is year 2, and the year 1 kids are wicked sharp. Y'all are going to be fine moving on to chapter 5. But we have one more chapter, or 1 more week to kind of like look at the first 4 chapters and get used to those. So let's look at the week here. By the way, I hope you guys know over here on the board for my in-building learners, I always have homework listed, and we have a quiz on Thursday. So that kind of stuff is up there, and it also appears here at the beginning of every class, just in case you didn't get that yet. This mask is too loose. Okay. Let's see, vocab case review. Oh yeah, we're gonna look at chapter 4 again for the second time because we looked at that the first week, and then we'll do some translations today. We will do in-class translations tomorrow, and then Wednesday we'll check the homework. So look at the thing I just gave you. What I want you to do is it's called lectiones, which means reading. So it's starting with number 7, and I want you to go all the way to 13. I usually only give 5 translations for homework, and this is what, 6? But I believe in you. You're fine. I skipped some of them because I didn't like them. So I'm just giving you the ones I really like. And these are your last chapter 4 translations. You might have already done these if you had worked ahead on with like that very first assignment I gave you. If you went past number 5, then you've already done these, or you've already seen them at least once. So work on them again if you need to. And then we'll check those on Wednesday. And then Thursday, guys, I was going to do a declension quiz, but I said, you know what? Let's give them their first translation quiz, and y'all can use your noun chart and your verb chart on the translation quiz. And then maybe weeks from now, maybe then we would do a declension quiz or something. But we're going to have our first translation quiz on Thursday. Y'all are going to be fine, because the way that works is I will pick 2 sentences from this sheet. That's how I do all translation quizzes for like all my Latin classes. I might pick one from the sentences we look at today, and then I will definitely pick at least the second one from your homework translations. So as long as you know those homework translations, which by the end of Wednesday, you should know them really well because we will have checked all of them after you've worked on it yourself. Yeah, so you'll know what the sentence is, and you'll just retranslate it on the quiz, hopefully not from memory, but from like just retranslating it on the spot. And I'll ask some questions about it, and it's going to be great. Any questions on that? Okay, cool. So we'll have a longer Jeopardy game on Friday because we wanted to start with a quiz. All right. Is there anything else? Am I missing something? No. Okay. We didn't quite finish this, did we? Who is that? Do anybody know?
A person.
Jake?
Venus.
Yeah, this is Venus. Good. She's the Roman Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty. This is from the Botticelli painting. Is it what's it called? It's like Venus from the half shell, but that's not what it's actually called. But anyway, she is actually relevant because there's her little baby boy right there, Cupid. Augustus and Julius Caesar imagined themselves descending from this line. Sounds really kooky, right? We'll talk more about this soon about what Roman views on like religious practices were. But yeah, some of them like actually really did feel like these Greek or Roman gods were like a real thing, and that you could potentially be related to one. As far out as it sounds nowadays. And anyway, we arrive at Augustus at the beginning of the empire. I just wanted to cap off this PowerPoint from Thursday because we kind of didn't quite finish it. What? Power off? No, not power off. All right, off to a good start with the projector. Let's see. Anyway, oh yeah. So most of the myths that Rome cares about are just kind of stolen and reused Greek myths. They just kind of say like, oh yeah, all the Greek myths, those are actually important to us too. We like those myths. We know those myths, and they actually lead into Roman mythology and history as well. They didn't necessarily differentiate those two things. So one of the most important ones they have is this idea that Aeneas, who was one of the who? One of the someone's a Trojan. Yeah, he's a Trojan. I know this is really small. Oh, here it is. He's from Troy. That we talked about at the end of the Bronze Age. Maybe this Trojan war that they hear about in mythology actually did. And if it did, they think that this guy Aeneas sailed after the Trojan horse like had the Greeks break into Troy and they burned down Troy. Aeneas was one of the few survivors who sailed around Greece. He left Troy with like and he sailed around the Mediterranean all the way to the east. He landed in Sicily for a second, which is where my people are from. He got stuck in Africa for like and then she left there, and she left there, and finally they landed in Italy. And so this is super important for the Roman people. It might sound just like kind of whatever kind of thing, but it's actually really important. I guess I don't have my copy of Aeneid here. I gotta bring that. Oh, I got one. Hey. But this is Aeneid, right? This is the Roman version of Iliad and Odyssey. So we had Virgil here around the time that Augustus had just become the first emperor of Rome. We have a really hot up-and-coming poet who is similar to, like, he's like a combination of J.K. Rowling mixed with Shakespeare, mixed with Dan Brown, mixed with whoever wrote the Bible. Just kidding, it's a bad joke. Bunch of people wrote the Bible. But anyway, he had a lot going for him before he even wrote Aeneid. And this myth had been around for hundreds of years. He did not come up with this myth. This myth had been around for a long time, but he said, you know what? I want to be the one to put pen to paper, put stylus to papyrus, and tell the best version of this. And that's what he did. So we basically end up with a Latin version of the Homeric poems. So the Homeric poems were written in Greek, right? So this is written in Latin. And you end up translating a lot of this in your third or fourth year of Latin, or eventually, especially if you take Latin in college. So it's really cool. It's a good story. I like it better than Odyssey by hair, and not quite as much as Iliad, probably. Yes?
How many years of Latin do you have to take after?
Here, so in LTA, you take, no matter what year you start in, you take it until ninth grade. Yeah, and then you're done. You're done in ninth grade. So you guys are going to have more than anybody else, potentially. You guys and the eighth graders above you who were here from year one of LTA. Y'all are going to get 4 whopping years of Latin, which is pretty sick. That means like you will truly be, we don't use this word for Latin, but like to be like fluent rather, fluent in Latin. I'm not fluent in English apparently, but yeah. And then maybe after that we'll have AP courses offered, but those would be optional if you want to get college credit for Latin. And what else? Yeah, but after that you take Spanish or French or whatever else we're offering. Right now it's Spanish. Any questions? That's about it for that. There's a cool picture of Mercury or Hermes coming to tell Aeneid that he needs to leave Africa because he gets stalled out in Africa, like I said, and has to finish his fated mission to bring this bloodline of Aphrodite or Venus, the Roman Venus, to Italy. Because his great grandchild is supposed to be Romulus, the wolf kid. And again, it's like pseudo history. Like we don't actually think Aeneas was a real guy, but maybe there's a kernel of something where he's based on some guy. Does this remind like this story of Aeneas bringing a bloodline to Italy from Greece? Does that make you guys think of anything that we care about in America? Yeah, it was like Columbus. Yeah, and now it's like almost a stretch, but there is a parallel because like we don't walk around saying like, yeah, we care about like this Italian explorer who came here first because like now we've kind of like poked some holes in that and we say like, oh, you know, Columbus never thought that this was America until the day he died. He still thought he had discovered Asia. He thought he discovered a route to Asia and that there was no North American continent. So we kind of discredit Columbus nowadays for a good reason. But anyway, there is kind of a similarity there. Italian Americans probably don't get enough credit for that. Any questions? All right, guys, let's do some of these translations. But first, let's remember what's going on with chapter 4. Does anybody have a cool story about something you did this weekend? Oh, wait. Well, real quick, was it Neelius and Carson? Y'all got stalked by a bear while they were camping? It's like horrifying. Their food got stolen? Y'all have anything to add to that? You'd want to? Well, I would want it just to be able to tell people I've had that happen, but I've barely like camped at all, so I don't have like any cool camping stories. Let's see, what did you do, Riley?
So I tried to me and my dad went camping with my grandparents. And my grandparents on my dad's side, I went to grandparents on my mom's side. And I'm not supposed to say that, but I do. So they were like terrified of like any animal that could hit them. So me and my dad were victories on the train. So something.
What? You actually did that?
Yeah.
I would do
Did
the
you also
same
do
thing.
that to Carson and Neelius this weekend? Was that you? Wow. Well, okay. I guess it didn't work. Kaylin?
This didn't happen this weekend, but it's a bear-related story. So, one time, both my sisters and my grandparents were like staying in a motorhome for camping, and one of my sisters, Madison, she like got up in the middle of the night and she was like sleepwalking, and she was trying to get out, so she was just continuously running into the door
Whoa.
while going.
Huh. That's kind of crazy.
And then later, my grandfather went out to go to the bathroom, and there was just a bear digging in the trash.
Dang. So she had been sleepwalking near a bear? Oh, whoa. I've never really seen a sleepwalker in action. All right, we got to get really quick ones because we do have to get into it. But Macy,
Mine isn't related to camping at all, but last night we were supposed to go to Lost Island and play with bouncy houses. I'm a child. But then it started raining, so we went to Swirly.
and that's covered or indoors?
Yeah.
Nice.
Swirly
Yeah, there's
Camp.
been a lot of rain. What's up with the rain? I got soaked on Saturday golfing. Let's see. Maddie.
I got soaked yesterday.
No, like you need to chill out. We can't do like sharing time if y'all are gonna be crazy. What's that, Maddie?
So, one time I was camping and we can go for raccoons, but we're not sure. But they ate all our marshmallows.
Ooh, they got good taste. I like those marshmallows.
Oh, and another time, Sadie was, she stole my blanket and like in the middle of the night. And she's been she was walking out of the
Wow, so a lot of sleepwalkers. We have to start, Jake. What is it?
I go to this campsite all the time where it's a giant lake right next to you in a man-made lake. And me and my brother take this like not a bin, but it looks more like as much. But a trail that instead of like taking a long way around going up the mesa like a little small slant, it's more like climbing at a very, very steep slant.
Wow.
And it's really fun. And every time we go there like 5 times a day. And once we almost fell off.
Wow. That sounds insane. Maddie, you got to say it like really, really fast, like weirdly fast.
Okay, I went camping not last week, but the week before, and my niece, like there was like this thing like here, the ground was here, and like that's how like her campsite was.
Oh.
My niece was on a chair and flipped over it. It's hilarious.
Okay.
And like her little brother, he's 3, and he started dying laughing.
That sounds funny. We probably had to be there, but I appreciate you telling that quickly. All right, guys. Like I said, we got a long weekend ahead of us, so that's cool. So 4 full days Only 3 of those are full days of Latin. Remember, I'm kind of like going to make that a thing where like Monday through Wednesday is always going to be like heavy on translation.
Did
And
you
these
say
other 2 days, we're either
weekend?
like doing quizzes or we're talking about
Yes.
history or we're playing Jeopardy, and that's just kind of like the way it's going to be most of the time. Unless I get a little grumpier and just do 5 straight days of translation, you know. Anyway, on to said translation. In chapter 4, they talk about this verb, right? You guys already seen this verb a little bit. I don't think it's giving you too much trouble. They first give us S, just meaning is, like he, she, or it is, or the sailor is, whoever the subject is something. But remember, this verb is wacky. It changes a lot. Half the time it's starting with the letter E. The other half of the time it's starting with the letter S. It's weird. But other than first person singular, which ends in an M, they do have the blank then ST, must, this, and in there. So you can still mostly tell the person and number without even remembering this chart. But this is on page 34 in your textbook. We will start to use the textbooks more. This may be the last week where I'm giving you guys so many printouts. Because I have so many people in this grade of labs that I don't want to always be printing like 60 pages of translation. So anyway, yeah, there's that. What else was I going to say about it? Yeah, we get this thing called a predicate nominative from it. We'll talk about it though. And then the second inclusion, neuter, which I talked about in my Jeopardy question. Remember, neuter nouns are not that bad. Just in the nominative singular, instead of ending in US, they end in UM. Okay, that's fine. The thing is that when you see them end in UM, they might also be a direct object. And you have to play a little game of figuring out if it's the subject or the geo. And then over on the plural side, weirdly enough, they end in A in the plural nominative and again in the accusative. So you'll find out with neuter nouns in general, they love to have their accusative be the same as nominative. I don't know why. It's not super convenient, but it's not really that bad either. You can usually kind of tell pretty easily if the word is the subject or the direct object. All right, and there's regular masculine second declension. I think we know it pretty well. Yeah, we know all these endings from the off the top of our head, maybe. Neuter nouns, not too many of them, right? Boscium, we're never going to see it again. Mark my word. Bellum, you get it mixed up with beautiful, but that's about it. Concilium, it's not hard to remember that this can mean counsel. Donum is gift, like dodare. Exidium is kind of hard to remember because we don't associate the word exit with like destruction in English. It's like a different stem, just coincidence. I guess so. There's also this verb in Latin, eo ire, and if you add ex eo, ex ire, that's how you get the word exit. So exit literally means he or she leaves. It's like a third person singular verb. So that's where the stem for our exit is coming from, not from this guy. Anyway, otium is peace. That came up in a week 1 translation. Periculum will come up probably in your homework maybe. And remedium means cure. Okay. Who can read number 1? You guys can follow along. This is number 1 on your homework sheet, but this is a part of it that's not homework. And I need to give this to you. No, ma'am. 7 through 13 is homework. 7 through 13, that is on the board. Well, you can do it on Thursday. And on the future homework as well. I'm just going to read this in Latin. Our little bird friend is already telling us some of the vocab at play here.
What is his name?
I don't know. What's his name? You might know his name.
Where, Harry?
Tiny.
Is it Chocobo? Is it Tiny Man? How about Bird Child?
Tiny man.
So the homework going to be all right, guys, who can read number 1 out loud for the 3rd time? Who wants to read? Even though we do have this thing kind of coming down and blocking it slightly. Kaylin, thank you.
Odium as follows. Said odium was formed as follows.
Okay, good. We have a lot of 1 case showing up here. So you might want to do the first 3 words. That's like that's entirely vocabulary. There's really no grammar going on with the first 3 words. Grace?
So you want to give me a translation?
Sure.
Peace is good.
Yeah, peace is good. Very good. I guess I need to make my translations come down a little lower because Caitlin and Ella probably or maybe Elizabeth, I don't know, are chatting, and I think it's fine, you guys. But I need to make things come down a little, or there's probably an option to make it to where that thing doesn't show up. Anyway, yeah, peace is good, right? Leisure time is good. That's so true. We're gonna have leisure time next Monday. We'll have a day off. That's good. So does everybody follow that? Peace is good. That's really straightforward, right? Let's see. But then what? Then what do we have? What does said mean, Riley? It's not and. You're close. C is it? S-I. Maddie, what's said? It's our second most common conjunction. Our first one is at, meaning and. Caden, this one is, yeah, but. It's like we have a kind of slightly contradictory thought after the first thought. So peace is good, but peace what? Peace, what do we do with multorum? That's the first word that's actually giving me pause. Up until then, I can literally just go left to right, and it's like all vocabulary. It's not grammar. But what is multorum? Who can tell me either what it means, what part of speech, or even what case it is? Ultimately, we want to know what case it is. Multorum. And you can all have our noun chart out. I want people to get their noun charts out every day, all the time. Kylie, what do you think? I think it's just much. I don't see money here. Oh, you said much or many. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it means much or many. So it's what part of speech? Anyone out loud? Is it a noun then? It could probably pretend to be a noun, like many do this. Many like to do their homework early. They're pretending to be a noun. But is it like actually a noun, Kate? Okay, is that the second time you've done that? Go get your correct notebook. You guys need to learn what your Latin notebook looks like. Macy? It's a what? Okay. Amazing. Genitive singular or plural? Not singular. How do we get the orum, the long orum? We're on this side, so it's plural. Yeah, guys, so that's actually really impressive. That's what I was looking for. Macy was able to tell it has this big, very distinct genitive plural ending. That ending is very, individual, and that it only shows up in genitive plural. The thing is that sometimes people, if they're kind of working really fast, they think that it's just a U in an ending. So that's kind of a vocabulary thing. You need to know what your word stem actually is. This is from multus, multum, multum. So the stem is like molt. So anything after the M-U-L-T is the ending. And so orum tells us it's genitive plural. And it's an adjective. That's what I mean by part of speech. A lot of people don't know what I mean by part of speech. That is noun, verb, adjective, adverb, particle, article, preposition, etc. So if it's genitive plural, how are we going to translate this? Otium multorum. What's it going to be?
Many pieces.
Not many piece. Because if it's modifying a noun, then it needs to have the exact same ending as that noun. They don't have the same ending. Otium is still nominative again. Otium is just the subject for the second part of the sentence, just like it was the first part. And it's not like many piece or much piece. It's the piece. Then what? How do we translate genitive? What's our favorite two-letter word? Caleb? Of. So the piece, what, Caleb?
Piece of meat.
Yeah, the piece of many. So he means the piece of many people, but we don't actually need to include the word for people. We need to get something out other than just drawing. Some people can pull off doodling in class, but they need to at least be convincingly doing other things too. You can't just draw. So yeah, piece is good. With a piece of many, as parwam. We have a second adjective. Oh my gosh! And y'all are writing this as we go. I know this part is not your homework, but there's a reason I printed it out for you so that you don't have to write the whole thing in your notes, which you would do otherwise. You're writing it as we go, following along. But what is that? But otium, multorum, s. So multorum is genitive pink. What, Ava? We're gonna say. Yeah. So this sounds kind of weird, but the piece of many is small, right? So what does this mean? I don't know. It's saying peace is a good thing, but unfortunately, not enough people have peace. Does that make sense? Especially if we're talking about ancient Roman times. There's a lot of war. Good. So the grammar of the sentence is pretty easy. Nothing is color-coded because the only thing that we have that isn't nominative or a verb is multorum. That's it. Everything else is like kind of a normal, it's like just a noun. We do this thing called do I have a note on it? No, I don't. It's a predicate nominative. So remember, when Zoom essay shows up, I want her to start to maybe get the hang of this word. This is, bonum here is a predicate nominative, meaning that when we see Zoom essay, there's not a direct object that follows after Zoom essay. It's actually just like another nominative that is being kind of like thought of as being equal to the subject. So while otium is a nominative subject, bonum is a predicate nominative. Also, remember, predicate is just a fancy word for verb. That's all predicate means. Don't get tripped up on like predicate. It's not one of the big grammar words that we need to think is like really impressive and smart sounding. It's a fancy way of saying verb. So this is like a verb nominative, a nominative after a verb. And then parvum, that's another predicate nominative. Technically, they're predicate adjectives is what we would call them to be very specific. But anyway, any questions on this one? Y'all are warmed up? Y'all remember how Latin works? Excited to be back in school after a fun weekend? Yeah?
Fun weekend, I love it.
All right, you can read number 1, ignoring the part with the parentheses. Macy?
I can't read it, but like
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I struggled for almost a few minutes at least trying to make that into number 2.
Good morning, teachers. This is just a reminder to collect all count for lunches and to collect money, please. We need it by 8:30. Thank you.
How do I get it to them? That's crazy.
And I just put the money down.
I guess that's what I need to do.
You're gonna steal a child in there.
Wait, but so we don't have money, right?
On my card.
And hopefully Antonio does too. I think if you don't have money, they just like charge it to your account and like eventually you get paid for it. But anyway, who knows Latin better than anybody else in this classroom who won't miss out in the next couple minutes? This person? Because Macy, weren't you about to like, yeah, I don't want to like make it to where you don't thank you. Yeah, run to the office, just tell that they ask. You say 3 people in Mr. Calinello's. Oh, do I need to write Mr. Calinello on that? Yeah.
Probably.
3 people in Mr. Calinello, no money. Well, they just need the number, really. I don't think it really matters like who it's for. I think it's hot dogs today. Okay. Who can? So Macy, go ahead and read number 2. It says 1. Sorry, that was a weird PowerPoint thing. We're not letting you to get. Go ahead.
Bella Sun Mea S Percula Habent.
Good, Bella. That's actually like kind of a sunt. Mala at multa pecunia, or I'm sorry, pericula habent. Good. So we're seeing sunt here, which is the plural version of what? Sunt is the plural version of a verb we saw last sentence. What is it? It's not is. Instead, it is close. It's not said. Said is but. So sunt is the plural version of est, right? Est is. But for plural subjects, we don't say they is, good students. We say they. Yeah, so sunt is are. If we flip all the way back to right here, sunt is they are. So it does have the nt to tell us it's third plural. It does like almost doesn't look like it's related to est at all, but it actually is. It's the plural version of est, right? This verb is like two-faced. It's like it's got a version of it that starts with e and the versions that start with s. Like half of them start with s, half with e. But they're not that tricky beyond that. So that means are, something are something. What do we think Bella is here? Well, it tells us that it's from bellum belli. So is this war or beautiful if it's from bellum belli? Yeah, it's from war. Because we can tell from bellum belli, that's the word war. If it was from the adjective, it would say from bella, spella, bellum. Adjectives have three endings in their dictionary entry. Nouns have 2. That's something you're probably still getting used to. But yeah, this is war. Is it war or wars here? Singular, plural? Macy? Oh, really? Already? See, I should have started because we shared those stories. We should have started. Maybe I can start using because Chartier paid for his Zoom, so he doesn't get cut off. I still have 10 minutes. So your internet kids, y'all only miss out on like almost 10 minutes. But I mean, a lot can happen in 10 minutes. But anyway, we'll at least get to the next 2 translations. Sorry, internet kids. I got to figure out something about that. That's true. I could just like start another one, couldn't I?
Yeah, that'd be
But that would take time out of all of the class. So Zoom kids, I think I just need to start a little later. I think it's better for you guys to see the end of class because the beginning is usually when I'm doing like housekeeping stuff. So internet kids, hopefully you can hear me right now. I'll turn the speaker back on if y'all speakers are on, but or mics are on. Instead of like y'all getting on around 7:40, y'all should plan to get on around like 7:50-ish. Okay, we'll just start. So don't think that I'm like not going to start it if it's still 7:50 and you're waiting. Just know that I'm trying to get you to see the end of class. But anyway.
Mr. Catalanello?
Yep.
The homework, I don't think you ever sent it because I haven't seen any sentences like these in our homework.
The homework from last week or this homework? This is on the page for this week's homework, which is not due to Wednesday, meaning Thursday for y'all. And I put that up on Microsoft Teams yesterday. So, yeah, you wouldn't have seen this stuff unless you're getting on Teams. But you can probably find it in Teams right now. But anyway, it's not due for you guys till Thursday, so you're fine. Ella, did you do the translations from last week?
Yeah.
Did you email them to me?
I might have forgot.
Okay, so well that's fine because I'm being lenient for these like while we figure these out. But like you might want to try to take a picture and email me. Anyway, so Bella, is it singular or plural? So they're from Belle and Belly. What gender is Belle and Belly? Anyone? And internet kids, y'all's mic work. So what gender? Anyone out loud is Belle and Belly? Who said neuter? Kaylin? Yeah, it is neuter. This is one of the neuter nouns I was reminding you guys about because it's not ending in US in the nominative, it's ending in UM. So if it's neuter, then what is this A ending mean for neuter nouns? It means that it's actually plural. Probably is still the subject, but it's plural. So witches are what? Mala? Mala has the same ending as Bella, so if you want to be fancy. Anyway, I don't know a solution for that either. I like that there y'all's mics to be on internet kids, but then you have to watch this. Anyway, it's fine though. I get it. I get why that would happen.
Hey, I didn't sleep good last night.
People don't like live alone. But Bella Mala, what would that be? That's a predicate adjective that has the same ending as the thing it's modifying. A. So what does Mala, Smala, Mala mean? Words like malevolent, maleficent. Ava? Yeah, wars are bad. Wars are evil. Wars are wicked. Whichever one. And what? Multa pericula habent. This is kind of weirdly tricky. Do we think that much is, well, what were you going to say, Ava? They have much danger. Very good. Okay, amazing. Yeah, they have much danger. I might have done something different with that. So you're saying that not only does Bella have this verb sunt going with it, it then has, we have a second part of the sentence after the conjunction where it gets a second verb. It's like they are evil and they have many dangers. So you're saying, what is the case of multa pericula? What's the case and function of it? The case and function of it. They have something. If they have it, if they verb it, it means it's a what kind of object? Anyone? They have much danger. They verb something. When a subject verbs something, that something is my favorite case, the Balaam. Genitive, accusative, yeah. So these are neuter accusative endings. So I know that's kind of tricky, but neuter nouns they're a little weird. Did I say something different for this? Okay, my clicker's not working suddenly. Oh yeah, here's my note about predicate nominative. When sum essay is used to compare a subject to another noun, it doesn't take a direct object, it takes a predicate nominative. And then let's see. Oh, see, I thought, and this is weird because it's kind of like it could be this too. I thought the sentence was, wars are bad and many have dangers, but Ava's version sounds way better. And I think that's more correct. So I'm going to change it right now. Because like I was treating multa like a second subject, but it doesn't have to be. It can be going with pericula. And so I would make it red too. Very interesting. Simple sentence, but there's actually some complexity here, guys. And see, you don't need to see they. I mean, you don't need to add they if you don't want to. You can, but it's like it's not a necessity to. You can just say, wars are wicked and have much danger rather. No, it's many because it's dangers plural. Many dangers. Okay.
How can many people be dangerous?
Many people? It's not people.
Yeah, like little Smurfs.
This needs to be.
Like with their names? Yeah. Even if they're not paying today? Crazy system. We gotta do this every morning. It's nuts. Antonio, what's your last name? Oh yeah. That is crazy. I want to lose minutes. Anyway, I'm not mad at the Hot Lunch Kids. It's a weird system. It's like bizarre. Who else was it? Caleb? And your name is what's that name? That's right. Was it K-A-Y? K-A-Y. K-A-Y. Okay. K-A-E-L-Y-N.
I would be
K-A-Y. Okay. Okay. Man, that's crazy. They gotta figure out a better system than me writing your name to the beginning of class. Who else? Again, I'm not mad at Hot Lunch. I would want Hot Lunch too. I ate one every day when I was a kid. What's your name? What's your last name? That's right. I like know y'all's last names, kind of. I just like. So someone's sitting down again? Macy, you can do it now, I guess.
I'll do it.
Don't fall down the stairs.
Did you say fall down the stairs?
Yeah. Oh,
Instead
yeah.
of-
Let's do our third translation. Oh, my God. A lot of interruptions today. Online kids, I'm going to lose you on 2 minutes. I'm sorry. We'll start a little later tomorrow. And from now
Can we get off now?
No, don't get off now. Let's get one more translation. Caitlin, let's have Caitlin, since we can hear you, read number 3, please, in Latin.
Let's see. Let me switch. Officium natum deodio hodie vocat.
Good.
I've done that in a while.
If you had to guess what the subject
I
is,
love roly tears.
if you had to guess what the subject is, what do you think it would be, Caitlin? No?
I don't know.
No? What do we think? What would be the best, easiest subject for us to kind of get out of this, Nathan?
Natum.
Word today.
Stuff.
I'm gonna mute y'all. Sorry. It's today. It's an adverb actually. Today in English is often a noun, but here it's actually an adverb. It's telling us when something is happening. Kayla? Maybe just officium. Okay. No, we're still gonna use this, and it's ending in um because it's second declension neuter. It's neuter. That's why it's ending in and it can still be the subject. But yeah, it's the first noun I'm saying. It can be nominative because it's neuter. It doesn't have to. It wouldn't end in us. There is no word in Latin called like officius. So it's not going to end in our normal masculine second declension ending. It's ending in the neuter one, the purple one that I have in there. So what? Duty what? What is duty going to do? What's our verb? Anyone? Natalie, what do you think our verb here is? Yeah, so duty does what? Third person singular, it agrees. So duty. Yeah, duty calls what? A direct object, Nelius? Good, the sailor. Duty calls the red accusative sailor. Are we getting used to a ending or accusative singular ending, everyone? Yeah, kind of. So duty calls the sailor. All right, that's the first word. Then the last word. Then the second word. And then we have this little prepositional phrase in the middle. Let's finish it just in time for our online kids to hear us. Duty calls the sailor from or about. You call somebody from or about something. I guess you can do either. But here maybe it calls them from Otio Hodie. From what is Otio?
Peace.
From
Peace.
yeah, from peace. Hodie.
Having.
From no peace today. Hodie means today.
Put the total hot lunch in power school or something.
Oh my gosh.
And I saw